Happy Friday, Bucs fans. You're watching Bucs Breakdown presented by PrizePicks. My name is Reed Barkus. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, hope you're having a great day today and hope you have a great weekend as well. Now, today's show, we're going to be talking about the top 3 key storylines for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading into the 2026 season via NFL.com. They had a couple things to say about what we got going on. And then we got praise for our guy, Tristan Wirfs. We'll get to that at the back half of today's show. But before we start, join the channel, guys. Training camp begins in 10 days. We're getting so close to Bucs football. Now, if you want updates on the Bucs and offseason and training camp, make sure to hit the subscribe button. It is 100% completely free. You don't have to pay a dime to watch any of these videos. So help me out. Subscribe. Get us to 3,000 subscribers. I can't believe we're almost at 3,000 subscribers. And training camp is in 10 days. So if you want all the updates, right here, Bucs Breakdown. All right. Key storylines from NFL.com. Number 1, Baker Mayfield entering pivotal season. Producer Cullen, is water wet? Yes, that is true. He is heading into a very pivotal season because, 1, it's a contract year, and he's got a lot to prove in terms of his credibility and just talent, I guess, because the consistency has not been there. Injuries, I know, have hurt a lot, but let's see what NFL.com had to say. In 2025, Mayfield started white hot, leading Tampa Bay to a 6-2 start and pushing the team into national conversation as a possible Super Bowl contender. Then injuries struck, sending Mayfield into a stretch of struggles that coincided with roster losses elsewhere and resulted in a pile of defeats and a postseason spent at home. For the first time since 2022, he finished with fewer than 4,000 passing yards. Now, I do want to say, I think a lot of people forget how bad the injuries were, right? As a Bucs fan, you know, a lot of the time, you look in the beginning of the season, we start off with Tristan Wirfs having that injury, and then you look at this picture and you realize, wow, it was way worse than a lot of people think. And I think some people just pushed away the Buccaneers because, the Buccaneers, NFC South, that stinks, terrible division. Yeah, they're just not very good. Well, there's a reason why we're not very good. There's a lot of red squares on there, including, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan all the way down there at the bottom. You miss a whole guy. Kalijah Cansey, Ko Keefe even, Cody Mock. You didn't have a ton of your staple guys, and it hurt Baker Mayfield. That's for sure, because weeks 1 through 8, he was 63.9% completion percentage, almost 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, taking a couple sacks, obviously. And then you look at weeks 9 through 18 to finish off the season, because weeks 1 through 8, we were 6-2, right? And then completion percentage went down a little bit. The yards went down by almost 200 yards. Touchdowns, it was the same, but then he started throwing more interceptions and not getting as confident and got sacked a couple more times as well. So there's reasons why Baker Mayfield, this is a pivotal season, and why he sort of fell off. Obviously, the injuries he was dealing with in the entire team as well. So I just don't think a lot of people understood that outside of Buccaneers fans, right? So let's move on to what NFL.com had to say. Now, Mayfield enters a contract year with a hard negotiating deadline, the start of training camp, with his favorite target, Mike Evans, who left for San Francisco, and with fresh questions to answer. Should things go well, Mayfield will remain the Bucs franchise quarterback for the foreseeable future, but if he encounters more struggles, it could cost him millions and inspire changes beyond his control that drastically change the landscape in Tampa. I think that is a very tough question that we're looking at, right? When is Baker Mayfield going to get extended, and what does the future look like for our quarterback? Now, let me know in the comments section, when should the Bucs extend Baker? Because that hard deadline is training camp. It's in 10 days. Type B for before camp, or type A for after the season. Because in the middle of the season, I don't think that's actually going to happen. It's either before camp or after they're done. So let me know down in the comments section. And our number 2 storyline from NFL.com is Bulls seat is warm. We're talking about that on the second half of today's show. But before I do that, I want to give a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor. You guys know him. It is PrizePicks. If you guys are trying to win some money while watching sports, hit up our friends over at PrizePicks, America's #1 sports picks app, as well as mine. The World Cup is coming to a close. There's only 2 games left. There's the final and then the loser match, but still chances to win some money. And I've been using PrizePicks since 2022, so that should tell you it's a great app to use. It's simple to use as well. Just pick more or less on a few player stats, lock in your lineup, and with the social feeds feature, you can check out all my lineups I have going on at Reed Barkus. That is my username. We got one going into the final game of the World Cup. Lamine Yamal, 1.5 shots on target. It's a demon pick, so the multiplier goes up because Lionel Messi, we have the free square. It's a guarantee pick, right? I mean, guys, when you hear guarantee pick, you got to add it to your lineup because they're giving you the half on more than half a pass attempted. I mean, Lionel Messi's going to do that, right? It's a guarantee pick. So add that to your lineup like I did. And if you're like, I have no idea what's going on, do not worry. Go down in the comments and description of today's show and download the PrizePicks app today with the link in the comments and description. It's down there. And use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Join me with PrizePicks where it's good to be. Right. Now, let's talk about our head honcho, and that is Todd Bowles. Is he on the hot seat, right? After last season, a lot of Bucs fans were like, yep, let's get Todd Bowles out of here. He crumbled at the end of the season. We missed the playoffs and lose the division to the Carolina Panthers. Time to go, right? Nope. They bring him back, and now his seat is even more hot than it was after the season. So NFL.com said near the end of a frustrating, somewhat inexplicable collapse in 2025, plenty of folks expected the Buccaneers to move on from Todd Bowles and start fresh with a new coach, like what I just said. That didn't happen, of course, and Bowles is back to justify the organization's support in 2026. If the Bucs struggled like they did last season with Bowles' defense finishing 20th in points allowed, he'll likely be out of a job, and Tampa Bay will be facing a potentially significant shift in identity for the first team since Tom Brady arrived in 2020. Some thought it's precisely what the Buccaneers needed after 2025, pointed towards Evans' departure as proof that things weren't right at One Buc Place. The team will have to embark on the new campaign without 2 franchise legends in Evans and linebacker Levante David, who retired after 14 seasons. Another concerning sign about Tampa's trajectory. It will be up to Bowles to prove the concerns are overblown. Now, 2026 is make or break for Todd Bowles. Last year, we ended the season terribly, right? And I think Todd Bowles as a head coach is not what we were expecting when he got the job in 2022, right? 8-9, lost the Cowboys in the wild card division. When you're in a division, let's be honest, NFC South, that is not competitive at all, you should be in the playoffs, right? And the first 3 years, he kind of just fell into the playoffs. 2023, 9-8, lose to the Lions in the divisional round. And then 2024, 10-7, probably the best season that he's had because he had Liam Cohen at his side. Lost to Washington in the wild card. And then last year, you lose the NFC South to a bad NFC South. Like, the Panthers fell ass backwards into that win of the division. And we could have easily won that division if, I know we say injuries, but like, the NFL has injuries all over the place. Figure it out, right? Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, they figured it out when half their team was gone. So I just think it comes down to what can Todd Bowles do as a head coach? And I've said this before, the addition of Zach Robinson, an experienced offensive coordinator who can focus on the offense, it allows Todd Bowles to focus on the defense where he's good at. That's his bread and butter. And as well as being more of a head coach. I believe in Todd Bowles when he can focus on what he needs to focus on, right? I think that's pretty evident in the last couple of years is he's good on defense. We know that, but he's got to get better as being a head coach, and he hasn't. And I think that's why a lot of people want him out as the head coach. All right, that is number 2. Let's go on to number 3. Does Tampa Bay have enough on defense to win? That is a very, very good question. When I saw that question, I was like, that is something very much to ponder. So NFL.com said, entering 2026, the Bucs seem to have an assortment of pieces that could form an improved defense. The team wisely spent its first-round pick on Miami edge rusher Ruben Bain Jr., supplying Bulls with a legitimate threat at the edge position opposite Yaya Diaby for the first time since the few years of Shaq Barrett's career, which ended with a one-game campaign in 2024. By the way, if you guys love Ruben Bain as much as I do, we have shirts available right now. Tampa Bain shirts with his sack celebration. We got the Bain mask on them. I love these shirts. These are absolutely awesome. My dad actually has one of these as well because I lived in Tampa for a year actually before I moved here I guess 2 years ago now. But I did live in Channelside. So fun fact about that. But chatsports.com/Bain if you want to get one of these shirts during the offseason, for the season as well. Can't get them anywhere else. You can't go on eBay, can't go on Amazon to get any of these. Chatsports.com/Bain is the only place you can get them. Get this sweet shirt for the season. All right, Bain and Yaya Diaby are going to move mountains for this defense. Last year, the pass rush was not exactly what we wanted. We wanted more out of Hassan Reddick, right? We thought we were going to get more of the end of that Philadelphia Eagles type of Hassan Reddick. I guess not really, but we wanted a hint of that, right? He's getting older. He did not bring the Eagles Hassan Reddick. He brought the Jets Hassan Reddick. And adding Bain to the other side of Yaya Diaby, who led the team in sacks last year, it's going to be so much better for this defense. And I think we'll see the secondary get better as well, which NFL.com says the Tampa Bay secondary should benefit from another year of development for Benjamin Morrison if he stays healthy. Jacob Parrish and Tyke Smith, but as of now, it remains a unit carried by Antoine Winfield Jr. Linebacker includes some questions too after David's retirement. Free agent addition Alex Anzalone arrives to great expectations, and veteran Christian Roseboom also entered the fray. Furthermore, Tampa Bay spent its second-round pick on linebacker Josiah Trotter. With Bowles in charge, this defense could very well exceed expectations. It could also determine the team's fate and the security of its coach's employment. I think that last part is really, really true. I could definitely see the 2026 Buccaneers relying on the defense to carry the team to the playoffs and hopefully beyond. I think they're going to really lean on what this defense, what this front seven can do, because you add Alex Anzalone, who's going to sort of take on that coverage type of linebacker that Levante David did. Josiah Trotter, Servassier Dennis hopefully takes that next step that he's supposed to take last year. And the secondary is not bad if they stay healthy. So, and then you bolster that interior defensive line. So as I continue to talk about the defense, it's like, the only hole is maybe that cornerback and secondary depth chart. Everyone else feels pretty solid. And I think the offense and the team in general is going to rely and lean on this defense to be better, because if the defense is better, the entire team will be better. And hopefully we'll go on to the playoffs. All right. What is the key that you think is the Buccaneers? What's the Buccaneers' key to having a successful 2026 season? You personally, you sitting right there in the couch or in a chair at a lunch table, I don't know. What is the most successful, or what is the key to the Bucs having a successful 2026 season? Not the NFL media, not anything else. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, second part of today's show, praise for our guy Tristan Wirfs. Now, I was looking at Bucs News, as I do every morning when I get into work, and I saw a really great article talking about where or what players you could build a franchise around. And Tristan Wirfs was ranked in the top 10 players to build a franchise around. And I was like, finally, people are understanding that we got great players on our squad. So take a look at the top 10 players to build around in the NFL. Penei Sewell comes in at number 10. Tristan Wirfs there at number 9. Will Anderson at 8. That makes sense. Jordan Love at 7. The rest of these are all quarterbacks. So the fact that Tristan Wirfs got in there in the top 10 with 7 of them being quarterbacks is absolutely awesome. Drake May in there at number 1. Young, very good quarterback on a rookie deal right now, and just a lot to build around. Jaden Daniels sneaking in there at number 2 is funny. But Tristan Wirfs, right? Bleacher Report saying on a similar Hall of Fame track is Wirfs. He's talking about Penei Sewell, obviously, who has been a first or second team All-Pro 3 times in 6 seasons and has just 7 holding penalties in his entire career. Sewell was PFF's top graded right tackle in 2025, while Wirfs was the number 1 left tackle with a 92.7 rating. Sewell and Wirfs have been responsible for a grand total of 5 sacks since the start of 2024. We rank the Buck 1 spot ahead of the Lion because the jury is still out on Sewell at left tackle. So this is more of just, what Bleacher Report was talking about with, where they're putting Penei Sewell and Tristan Wirfs in terms of, the rankings. And I think when you talk about Tristan Wirfs, actually I was talking about this article with our Patriots guy in the office today, and because obviously he's going to talk about Drake May being number 1, and he was like, Tristan Wirfs at number 9, really? How old is he? I'm like, he's only 27 years old, and what he's done in his career already, he's the top left tackle in the league. I guess you could make arguments of other guys, but at 27 years old, he's a future Hall of Famer, already, right? Last year, overall, 92.7 PFF grade. His pass blocking, 84.9. Run block, 91.6. Only 5 penalties and 778 snaps, obviously missing the first part of the season with his injury. But, guys, we have a franchise left tackle and future Hall of Famer at 27 years old. Only 2 sacks allowed last year in 12 games. I'm so happy that people are finally realizing. I think a lot of people already realize that Tristan Wirfs is so good, but I'm so happy that he's on our team and that we got him for the foreseeable future, and I hope he stays a Buck for the rest of his life. Now let's go, Bucs fans. If you are happy that we have Tristan Wirfs as our franchise left tackle, hit that subscribe button and let me know that you love Tristan Wirfs being on this team as much as I do, because it is free to do so, and we love our guys here at Tampa Bay. So if you made it to the end of today's show, thank you so much for watching. We are on the road to training camp, so if you want any updates on training camp as we get closer and closer to the season, man, I'm excited for Bucs football. So make sure to hit the subscribe button while you're down there. Also, give it a like, and as always, fire the cannons.